asset framing. What is it, and how can we do a better job of presenting our kids in a better light? Hi, I'm Genein, and I want to talk to you about asset framing. This is a concept that I thought I would have been aware of prior to becoming an educator with my psychology background, but it took meeting fellow DonorsShoes.org board member Trabian Shorters to introduce the concept and to totally floor me on how I was presenting my student. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let him do it. Check it out. I am with Mr. Trabian Shorters, and he is the CEO of Bme Community. And what is Bme?
So Bme is a network of community builders, all races and genders, inspired by Black men to make our cities better together.
Awesome. And it's been amazing to see what you've grown over the years. How long has it been in?
So we started Bme when I was vice president of the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation. For those of you out there who've listened to NPR, you hear about Knight Foundation. What you may not hear is that it also does community engagement work in 24 cities across the country. And so Bme started while I was at Knight Foundation. And what was your question?
How long has it been in Georgia?
Yeah, so we started Bme, the pilot started back in 2011 and 12, but as a freestanding organization, 2013.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And he introduced a concept to me called asset framing. What is asset framing?
Yeah, asset framing is recognizing that you should not define people by the characteristic that is least complementary to them. You know, when you think about a lot of our neighborhoods, we describe them as poor, disadvantaged, or underserved, or all these negative labels. And to me, it would be like you introducing me, instead of introducing me as Trabian Shorters CEO, if you had introduced me and saying, here's Trabian Shorters, who used to wet the bed as a child, right? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
we all have our issues.
You know what I'm saying? Right. It may have happened in our lives, but to define people by something that stigmatizes them is really a way of injuring the relationship before it begins. And so if you think about our students, I've heard a lot of mission statements that say, we help at-risk youth in high-crime neighborhoods to, stay on track and graduate, avoid becoming a negative statistic. We have these mission statements that set us up as the good guy and our communities up as the threat to America's future, and then we stop these kids from becoming criminals, right? And I've talked to educators. I'm pretty sure the purpose of education is not to stop someone from becoming a criminal. The same mission statement could be, we help students who are hungry for an education to learn and achieve the goals that they want to set for themselves in their life, right? You could say that's what we do in education, but that's an asset frame. We're defining these students as people who want an education, not as future criminals, right? So asset frame is just recognizing people for their positive aspirations and contributions, and then having a relationship based on that. So it's really simple.
Yeah, that really floored me because I've been trained to say my low-income students my at-risk students or my disadvantaged students, as opposed to saying my amazing, dynamic, successful students who happen to come from low-income backgrounds.
And this is the thing. So if you I don't know if you have friends or family or whatever who have somehow been negatively labeled. Like once you become sort of the black sheep of the family, everybody can remember every bad thing you've ever done, and they pretty much ignore all the good things you do. Like just write them off. Like if you happen to make a payment on time, but nobody cares. You get no credit for that, right? And so the challenge that we have in the way that we've learned to talk about ourselves and our communities and the folks that we care about, the challenge that we have is we do it in these ways that really, when you think about it belittles everyone. I'm pretty sure that when a student walks into a classroom or if they come to some sort of community program or community center, I'm pretty sure if everybody there looks at them as a future criminal, they feel that. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they know the difference.
Words have power.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they know the difference between people who really care and people who feel like they have to care, right? And so our thing is, for those of us who really care, we have to use language that reflects that we really care.
That's good.
You have to talk to people, the way that you think they are. You have to speak life into folks. You have to relate to people the way that you want them to be, or at least acknowledge the way that they actually making positive contributions. And we've been doing this with Black men across America, for the last 3.5 years. We funded 160 black men from all different backgrounds, all different experiences. Some of them, lead Fortune 500 corporations. Some of them are recently returning from prison. All of them are deeply committed to the future of their communities, and that's how we relate to them. We define them as community builders, we relate to them as community builders, and they go on and do great things to build a community. Right? What we don't do is we don't try to remediate people. Like, we're not here to solve people. Like, we're not here to fix people, actually. What we're here to do is to recognize you for what you do to make your community stronger, recognize the next person, what they do to make the community stronger, connect us up, and let's build it together.
Build, that's the key word. We build.
Yeah,
wonderful. So as you can imagine, just meeting him, he's a fellow board member with me on the DonorShoes.org board. He's been doing great things with Donor Shoes, but also with his own projects with Bme. This is Trabian Shorters, and any last thoughts that you want to tell America?
The
teacher force.
I feel like, hey, America. Look, no, seriously, I do believe we are at a moment in American history that has never existed before, and by that I mean the largest generation in the history of the nation was the baby boomers, right? They are now celebrating the 50th anniversary of like everything because they've been around that long. And an even bigger generation that is more diverse, more digitally connected, from a different perspective on the world. They're starting to come into the mainstream. Like, the millennials are starting to become the American mainstream. And this is a moment where we can redefine anything that we choose to. In the last 10 years, crazy things have happened. Like, we've elected black guys president. Like, that was never possible in America. Anything can change on these young people's watch. But the thing is, it's only the next handful of years. The next 5 or 10 years, anything can change. After that, you'll be locked into whatever pattern you set now. And so I'm really excited that Bme exists for us to have a better narrative about America's future, about our role in it, and what we can make together. So that's my parting words. I don't know where this will end up, but
well, thank you, Trabian, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Awesome.
You have to wave.
Oh.
So hopefully you got a great concept about what asset framing is and about presenting our students in the best light possible. I catch myself all the time. One of my first interviews when I got the 2015 Charter School Teacher of the Year, I totally do that. So every time I watch that video, I'm like cringing. It's like, program or some type of education that I can give my low-income students who are doing academically well and doing their part in the classroom, but still aren't getting the information they need to be competitive. Like Maya Angelou said, when you learn better or when you know better, you do better. So now I do better, and I say my amazing, innovative students who come from low-income backgrounds, or my highly gifted, high achievers or high scholars who happen to come from disadvantaged beginnings. So I always present their assets first, and then I will bring up the liabilities, which sometimes to me ends up being an asset, because when you go to hard times, it ends up building your muscle and building your resilience and building your strength. So you can fight the battles that life sometimes may present you. So asset framing, I hope you will be more aware of how you present your students and making sure you prime the brain to look at their positive assets before you enter or bring in the struggling aspects that they've gone through. So I hope these are some more tools for you to live your best life and for you to have your best class. Thanks. Bye-bye.